Journeyverse Journeys, Part 8 by Tenhawk. Bring it up, Xander said, grinning at the man. The father was right about this guy. He's standing here like a soldier ready to go on patrol. I'm surprised that he's not packing. The man shook his head. It's yours. What? Xander looked at him in confusion. You're the guy who saved those kids the other night, right? Xander nodded. My daughter, Lynn, was one of them. You want this stuff? It's yours. Xander wasn't certain what to say. He couldn't remember anyone bothering to thank him for saving them before. Thanks. The man suddenly peered at him intently, looking between Xander and the gear he'd picked up. Pistol belt, Alice clip, canvas sheath, combat knife, clip pouches for .45. You're going hunting them, aren't you? Terrence didn't specify who them were. He didn't need to. As far as he was concerned, it didn't matter. Xander tried to gauge the man's intent from his voice, but soon gave up. What the hell? I'll go with the truth. Yeah, I have a tip that they'll be trying something tonight. Terrence looked at him hard for a long moment. You want some company, kid? Xander sized the man up. He looked like he could handle himself, but it was hard to tell. Were you ever in? The man smiled. Special Forces. Did a tour with a sniper team in Nam. Xander nodded. Meet me at the rectory before dark. Bring a good knife and a machete or a sword. Anything else is up to you. The man's eyebrows raised at the mention of a sword, but he nodded. Xander smiled, said goodbye, and left the shop. Church Rectory, that evening. Terry Powell knocked softly before going in, not really certain what he was doing. He just knew that he wasn't going to let a slip of a boy protect his family alone. He brought what the boy suggested, a nice heavy machete he'd had back in Nam, and a K-bar combat knife from the store. In addition, he had a service pistol, a 1911 government model Colt .45, and a Remington combat shotgun. Once inside, he waited while the kid, who'd introduced himself as Xander, geared up. The boy had all the focus of a combat vet, though his attitude by times was almost completely at odds with his movements. Terry shook his head. It was like the kid had all the skills without going through the discipline it took to get them. You almost ready, kid? Xander looked up and grinned. Damn near. He watched as the kid snapped a lovely pair of .45s into a shoulder holster and checked out several magazine pouches on his pistol belt. Damn, those are beauties. Wonder where the kid got 'em. Next, the boy put what looked almost like a silver-polished maglite into a sheath on his right thigh. Almost, but not quite. There was no switch and no apparent bulb end either. Almost like a club, but it was too damn short to be of much use. Next came the machete his daughter told him about, and that he had seen the night before while the kid watched those idiots in the town meeting. Finally, the Tonto blade he had given the kid earlier found its way into its sheath on the kid's leg. After he was done, the boy tossed a baggy shirt over the whole thing and went from commando to geek on vacation. Terry shook his head. The kid was good at not being noticed. Let's move out. Xander grinned as he gestured towards the door. I am coming with you. Xander turned to look at the priest in surprise. This is going to be dangerous, Father. The old man shook his head, tucking a cross into his pocket, along with 2 bottles of holy water. This is my town, Alexander, and I have been in dangerous situations before. Xander sighed. He wasn't one to tell someone to stay out of a fight, but he'd rather avoid the death of a priest on his conscience. All right, but you stay in the car, understand? The priest just smiled. The grove was already occupied when Xander pulled his car over half a mile from the target. They could easily see the light of a fire in the distance, throwing shadows in all directions. Xander and Terry climbed out of the car and did a quick final check of their gear, making sure that everything was in place and tied down to prevent clanking and other unwanted noise. Wait here, Father, Xander said. We'll be back as soon as we're done. As the 2 men moved away from the car, Xander reached into his pocket and handed Terry a cross and a bottle of water. What the hell is this for? Terry looked at the 2 items in some disdain. He had learned a long time ago not to hump useless gear into an unknown situation. Demons and vampires, Xander replied seriously. Terry just snorted. I'm serious, and before you interrupt me, understand this. It isn't important that you believe they are demons or vampires. It's only important that they believe it. Are you telling me we're going up against some kind of a cult? Xander shrugged. He didn't see the point of arguing. Keep an open mind, and you can answer your own questions later. The rest of the hike passed quickly, and in silence as Terry mulled over what Xander had said. The two men stalked quietly around the edge of the grove, taking their time and moving silently through the sparse vegetation, despite Xander's limp. As they got closer, Xander stopped and held up his fist, stopping Terry behind him. He flashed a series of hand signals to the older man, who then nodded, and the two split up to circle the fire. Terry shook his head as he moved. Where the hell did the kid learn battle signs? Xander got in fairly close before he was able to hear anything. Not that he could understand what he heard. A long, low mumbling that sounded faintly like chanting echoed up from around the blazing fire, and he could see shadows dancing around the grove as people or things moved around the miniature inferno. Looks like G-Man called it, Xander considered the scene before him. It was definitely a ritual of some sort, involving more of the uglies he'd hacked apart a couple of nights earlier. That caused him to breathe a short sigh of relief. Giles had informed him that the shit demons were basically as mortal as any human, even if they were devoid of any shred of human emotions. That meant that his pistol, and Terry's shotgun, would be effective. Xander slipped the twin Colts from the shoulder holster, and flicked the safeties off with an easy move of his thumb. The nearly silent click sent a shiver up his spine, bringing more buried memories to the surface as he advanced in a crouch towards the clearing. Party's heating up, he thought, when a scream attracted his attention. Two of the demons were drawing forth a young girl, kicking and screaming to the fire. Well, crap. Xander's eyes searched the other side of the clearing, looking for Terry. When he couldn't find him, he didn't know whether to be annoyed or impressed at the man's concealment. Going to have to move and hope he catches on. Xander drew a bead on each demon with his pistol, and aimed high above the girl's head. His fingers caressed the triggers lightly, both pistols bucking in his hand as he sent two demons to the afterlife. With that, Xander swiveled and fired again, catching a third demon in the shoulder with a .45 caliber round that sent it tumbling. As he moved into the open clearing, looking for more targets, he also kept an eye out for the head troublemaker. Whoever it was who started this mess should be here if G-Man was right. Xander had only taken a few steps when he was tackled from behind. Terry watched the things dance around the flames, the kid's words burning in his mind. Demons, vampires. Shit, what the hell did I get into here? He watched as two of the things dragged a girl into the light, cursing to himself. Shit, that's Jenna. Jesus, I have to do something. For a brief second his eyes searched for the kid, but he couldn't find him. He knew that his shotgun was useless here, and went to pull his pistol when he heard a double crack of a pistol shot echo through the area. He blinked. Both demons went down, hard. Another crack sent a third demon tumbling to the ground. Then he saw the kid step out of the shadows. Terry's eyes widened as he saw another form detach itself from the shadows. He started to yell to the kid, but it was too late. Both forms went down in a tangle of arms and legs. Xander twisted as he fell, managing to come face to face with the demon that had tackled him. Whoo! Ugly! Get a damn breath mint, will you? The demon just growled, its talons already wrapped around Xander's throat. Grr! Xander gasped, trying to draw a breath through the rapidly constricting air pipe. He had lost the pistols in the fall, and was trying to grab anything that could help. His left hand clawed at the demon's face, trying to get it to loosen his grip, to little avail. Xander's right hand, however, closed around the cool metallic surface of Elan. Pulling the staff from the canvas sheath, he braced it against the dirt and managed to activate the ancient weapon. Terry moved forward as fast as he could, where the thing was strangling the kid, pausing only occasionally to shoot one of the things that was coming at him. He'd gotten within 20 feet when the thing was suddenly thrown clear of the kid and sent tumbling back almost 15 feet. Terry stared at the boy as he slowly got up, a 7-foot-long pole in his hand. "What the hell?" The boy stepped forward, gripping the pole like an oversized baseball bat, and clobbered another thing with a solid shot to the jaw that caused Terry to wince. "Christ, that must have hurt."